Well, first of all, I'm ecstatic on a couple of levels. Number one, this guy is incredibly passionate about the game of basketball. He was extremely upset that he didn't gain ownership of the Sacramento Kings initially because, according to several owners that I had spoken to, he approached that scenario like a businessman, like it was a business deal, as opposed to recognizing that the NBA, being the fraternity that it is, doesn't necessarily need him. And so as a result of that, he went about this in a much more different way and ultimately garnered the level of support necessary where the Board of Governors would be willing to embrace his arrival as an owner for the Los Angeles Clippers. You know, this is a guy that has tremendous connections to Seattle because he's the former CEO of Microsoft, and there is some indication that he could move the team to Seattle, even though he has made it very, very clear that he has intentions of keeping the team in Los Angeles, and that, you know, he goes to the Clippers games a lot and he supports the team. So it's interesting in that regard. Plus, his personality is very vibrant. He's very outspoken, talks a lot, even busted his vocal cords on several occasions in the process of promoting Microsoft to the best of his ability. So when you look at it from that standpoint and the fact that the man is worth $20 billion, he's clearly not going to make a profit paying what he's paying for the Los Angeles Clippers, reportedly. So this is a toy for him, and obviously he can afford some toys, and this is one of them. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as he keeps Doc Rivers in place and make sure that he's not an owner that thinks he knows more about basketball than the man presently running things for the Los Angeles Clippers, who is Doc Rivers, it's going to be a plus. There's no doubt about it. The flip side to it, however, Skip, is that what makes me unhappy about this is one thing and one thing only. The fact that it's going on so quickly. Clearly, it's a concerted effort to avoid a vote on a part of the owners, meaning the Board of Governors, in terms of voting Donald Sterling out. That vote is scheduled for Tuesday afternoon, anytime after 1 p.m. in New York City. I personally want to see what the owners are going to do. Who are you going to vote unanimously, 29-0, to get rid of Donald Sterling, to oust him as an owner of the Los Angeles Clippers? If it's not unanimous, who's going to vote to keep him on? And are we going to find out who those owners are? Me personally, for my own personal edification, satisfaction, I would like to see that vote go down. Clearly, if Ballmer is approved as an owner and Shelly Sterling is able to sell this team, that vote indeed may not be necessary, and the owners are going to get off the hook, which I have no doubt played a role in expediting this process. But nevertheless, it is what it is, and if Donald Sterling is ultimately gone and Mr. Ballmer is in as the new owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, everybody associated with the NBA community is better off for it, myself included.
Mm-hmm. I am with you, Stephen A. I would love to see a vote of each and every NBA owner made public. And I agree with you that this might take, who knows, 6, 8, 10 of those owners who might be on the fence about this issue off that hook. Now, are we sure that they're off the hook? Are we sure there won't be a vote? Here's what I know after the reams of copy that I read this morning. Multiple reports, including ESPN's, say that the Sterling Family Trust has deemed Donald, mentally unfit to have the final say on this sale. So according to incapacitated, but I read the phrase mentally unfit. So Shelly Sterling is saying, hey, as a family, we have deemed him, according to our doctors, to not be capable of making a final call on this sale. So he's out. So we like this offer, $2 billion. Who wouldn't like that offer? Even though, Stephen A., they're going to have to pay, if it goes through, $662 million in capital gains tax. That would still mean that the family trust would walk away with what? $1.4 billion? I think they would be okay with that. Now, earlier in the day yesterday, Donald Sterling's attorney said to several media outlets, we're still going to fight this. So is he? I don't know for sure. I don't know. Maybe you know more than I do, because from what I know of Donald Sterling, again, if he's incapacitated or mentally unfit, that could be a whole different issue. But I'm going to guess that he's going to try to fight this. Does he have a leg to stand on in NBA court? Maybe not. But could it gum up the works, slow down the sale? Could it necessitate this vote to vote him out? I kind of hope so, because I would like to see it, Stephen A.
Well, let me tell you this, man, and I said this last night when I appeared on Anderson Cooper's show on CNN. It's much ado about nothing in terms of these legal battles. He has no ground to stand on. He has no case. And I don't care what his lawyer says. As far as I'm concerned, it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Yes, there is the U.S. Constitution to take into consideration, but the NBA Constitution is allowed due to the U.S. Constitution. You know what you signed up for. You signed on to be an owner of an NBA franchise with stipulations that fall under the guise of the NBA Constitution. And if you've impugned and sullied the NBA brand in such a way that you've compromised the business in a severe fashion, then they have a right to vote you out. I brought this up the other day, and I'm going to repeat this, Skip. Augusta National, something near and dear to your heart. You know how women wanted to be included in that and how that was a big-time story. Well, what happened is that everybody was trying to gin up public pressure to get them to change their policies. But you couldn't legally get them to change their policies because the reality is, you know, they had a right, because it's a private club, to do what they wanted to do. And if it were keeping folks out, they had a right to do that. The NBA is a private fraternity. You don't have a right to be a part of it. If it's a privilege for the players, if it's a privilege for coaches and executives and others, it is also a privilege for owners.